You didn't stumble here by accident. This message was meant to find you, not through noise, but through the quiet ache you've been carrying. You may not have told anyone, but your heart has been searching for meaning, for clarity, for a sign. And here it is. What you are about to hear may feel familiar, as if you've known it all along. That's because it's not new. It's the reminder your soul has been waiting for. Krishna is about to move in your life, and when he does, you will notice the signs. Have you ever felt something shift deep inside you, a quiet ripple, a subtle current, that you can't quite explain? It's not excitement. It's not fear. It's something else entirely. Many people mistake it for anxiety, but it's not. It's an inner stirring, the kind that comes when Krishna begins to prepare you for something greater. He doesn't arrive with noise or spectacle. He comes quietly, through the smallest of moments. Moments you might otherwise ignore. I've felt it in the most ordinary places, while washing dishes, waiting at a red light, or sipping tea alone in the early morning. And in those moments, it's as if an invisible door inside me slowly began to open. I couldn't see where it led, but I could feel it. A sense that something new, something important, was drawing near. In spiritual traditions, this sensation is seen as an invitation, a signal that the soul is about to step into a new chapter. Before the great shifts, there is almost always a pause. Life begins to slow down. The noise fades. You might feel strangely detached from routines that once kept you busy. Friends or acquaintances may drift away, without conflict or explanation. Plans you thought were secure may dissolve unexpectedly. It's not because you've made a mistake or lost your way. It's because you're being guided away from what no longer serves you. Krishna makes room before he brings in the new, and making room often feels like loss. But it is not loss. It is clearing. It is sacred preparation. I remember waking up one morning with an unusual stillness inside me. There was no urgency to check my phone, no rush to jump into the day. Just a quiet pull telling me, "Wait, be still." I listened, and in that stillness, I began to notice what I had been too distracted to see. The dreams that had been softly tugging at me for months. The subtle dissatisfaction with a life I had outgrown. The gentle sense that a door was about to open, if only I stopped pushing against it. This inner stirring doesn't shout. It whispers. It speaks through nudges and gentle restlessness, through recurring thoughts, symbols, or ideas that keep finding their way back to you. When it comes, you might feel drawn toward simplicity, truth, and authenticity. You may find yourself craving quiet moments, deeper conversations, and meaningful work. You might even feel like you're withdrawing from things you used to enjoy, not because you've lost interest in life, but because your soul is making space for something that matters more. That's not laziness. It's preparation. Like a seed sprouting in the dark soil, the change is happening before you see any sign of it above ground. And just as a seed needs space to grow, so do you. If you try to fill that space with noise, distractions, or busyness, you'll smother the very thing that is trying to emerge. So instead, let the silence breathe. Let the stillness expand. That stillness is not empty. It's full of unseen movement, full of alignment happening beneath the surface. The next time you feel that gentle disturbance within, don't label it as worry. Don't push it aside. Recognize it as a sacred sign, a signal that Krishna is near, rearranging things for your highest good. You may not understand it in the moment, but when you look back, you'll see that this was the beginning, the first hint that the ground beneath you was shifting towards something greater. And when you choose to lean into it instead of running from it, that's when the real journey begins. That's when everything starts to change. Sometimes, when Krishna is preparing to move in your life, the first thing he does is slow everything down. It can feel like the world is shrinking away from you. Plans stall. People you used to talk to every day stop calling. The constant noise of life fades into an unfamiliar quiet, and you wonder, why does it feel like I'm suddenly alone? It's not because he has left you. It's because he is creating space. Space for the next chapter. Space for you to breathe without the weight of the old world pressing in. You cannot step into the new while your hands are still clutching the old. And so, he gently pries your fingers away from the things that no longer belong to you. At first, it may feel like loss. It may feel like being abandoned. But look deeper. This stillness is sacred. It's the pause between the inhale and the exhale, the place where transformation begins. I've lived through seasons like this, where the calendar that was once overflowing with obligations became strangely empty, where I had all the time I thought I wanted, but instead of feeling free, I felt unsettled. We live in a world that worships busyness, so when life slows down, it can feel unnatural. But that is only because we've been taught to fear the quiet. In the stillness, all the things we've been avoiding start to surface. The feelings we've pushed aside. The dreams we've been too scared to pursue. The truths we've been unwilling to face. Krishna knows that in the noise, we cannot hear him clearly. So he leads us into stillness, not as a punishment, but as an invitation. An invitation to hear his voice without interference. An invitation to shed the layers we've outgrown. Think of it like the moment before dawn. It's dark, it's quiet, but the air is heavy with the promise of light. That is what the stillness feels like when Krishna is near. It is not the end. It is the in-between, a necessary pause, so that what is coming can arrive without being drowned out by distractions. During my own season of stillness, I learned something unexpected. At first, I fought it. I filled the silence with television, with my phone, with anything to keep from feeling the emptiness. But the more I tried to resist, the more restless I became. It wasn't until I stopped fighting and simply sat with the quiet that I began to feel peace. In that peace, I started hearing my own thoughts more clearly. I began to notice small things, the way the sunlight shifted through my window, the way my breath slowed when I stopped rushing. The way my heart felt lighter without constant demands. And slowly, I realized, this was not emptiness. It was preparation. It was as if Krishna had cleared the room so he could fill it with something new. Sometimes, we think we are ready for the blessings we've been praying for. But in truth, we are still too cluttered, with old relationships, old habits, old ways of thinking. And blessings cannot thrive in a crowded space. They need room to grow. So when life slows down for you, when people drift away, when the noise disappears, don't chase after what's leaving. Let it go. Not everything lost is a loss. Some departures are divine protection. Some empty spaces are invitations for something better. If you are in a season like this now, I want you to know, stillness is not stagnation. It is strategy. It is Krishna preparing you for what's next. The seed does not grow because we shout at it. It grows in silence, beneath the soil, unseen. So let the quiet do its work in you. Rest in it, trust it, because the stillness you feel now is the foundation for the movement that is to come. And when the time is right, that movement will be unstoppable. One of the clearest signs that Krishna is moving in your life is repetition. Not the repetition of routine or habit, but the repetition of something your soul can't seem to forget. A thought, a dream, a symbol, a feeling that returns to you again and again, no matter how much time has passed. It's like hearing the same melody play softly in the background of your life. You can try to ignore it, but it always finds its way back into your awareness. This is no coincidence. It's how Krishna speaks when your heart is ready to listen. When the same message appears in different forms, a line in a song, a verse in scripture, a conversation overheard, pay attention. It's not random. It's a divine thread weaving its way through your days. I once had a recurring dream about golden lotuses drifting down a calm river. At the time, I didn't know what it meant, but the dream kept coming back, months apart, unchanged in its beauty and stillness. Later, during a time of deep personal change, I found myself at a temple I had never visited before, and there, carved into the walls, were golden lotus motifs identical to the ones in my dream. In that moment, I knew. It hadn't been imagination. It had been a whisper, a sign that something sacred was guiding me forward long before I could see where I was headed. Repetition works like that. It bypasses the logic of the mind and speaks directly to the heart. Sometimes it's not a dream, but a feeling that keeps resurfacing. You might find yourself drawn to the same idea over and over, the desire to start something new, to change direction, to return to a place you once loved. You may push it aside, telling yourself it's impractical or unrealistic, but it keeps knocking, because it's not just an idea, it's a calling. Krishna places these seeds within us long before they bloom, and the reason they keep showing up is because they are already part of your destiny. Ignoring them doesn't make them disappear. It only delays the moment when you finally say yes. Sometimes repetition feels even more mysterious. You might hear the same phrase from different people in the same week. You might keep stumbling across the same symbol, a peacock feather, a certain number, a specific color, in places you least expect it. These are divine winks, little reminders that the universe is aligned with your journey. But here's the key. You have to slow down enough to notice them. In our busy lives, we often dismiss these signs as chance. We're too quick to explain them away. But the soul knows better. The soul feels the pattern and recognizes the message behind it. When you start paying attention, you realize these repetitions are like breadcrumbs on the path. They are meant to guide you step by step toward what's next. I've learned to keep a small notebook with me to record every time I notice these patterns. Looking back, I've often been stunned at how these scattered moments connect into a bigger picture. What seemed random in the moment turned out to be the exact guidance I needed. Krishna doesn't waste words. If something keeps showing up in your life, there's a reason. It may be a sign to prepare, to let go, to move forward, or simply to trust. And when you follow these signs, life begins to feel less like a series of accidents and more like a conversation with the divine. The repetition becomes a rhythm, and that rhythm becomes a song you were always meant to recognize. So if something has been echoing in your spirit lately, a thought, a symbol, a dream, don't brush it aside. Sit with it. Ask what it's trying to tell you, because chances are it's not random. It's Krishna's way of reminding you that you're on the right path, and that path, no matter how winding, is leading you somewhere beautiful. There comes a moment in every transformation when the things that once thrilled you no longer hold the same magic. The activities that used to light up your spirit now feel heavy. The conversations you once enjoyed feel shallow. The goals you worked so hard for seem strangely empty. This is not failure. It is not a sign that something is wrong with you. It is a sign that your soul is outgrowing its old world. When Krishna is about to do something big in your life, he often begins by gently loosening your grip on the familiar. You may not even notice it at first, but over time, the things that once satisfied you stop filling the space within. It can feel unsettling. You might wonder why you're suddenly tired of the very dreams you chased for years. But this is not the end of your passion. It's the redirection of it. I remember a season in my life when social media, constant networking, and busy schedules were my fuel. I loved the rush of new messages, the thrill of being in demand. But slowly, I noticed the rush wasn't making me happy anymore. Instead, it drained me. I began to crave quiet mornings, deeper connections, and meaningful work. At first, I resisted this change. I thought maybe I was losing my drive. But the truth was, I wasn't losing it. I was refining it. Krishna was shifting my heart from chasing recognition to seeking authenticity, from running toward noise to resting in truth. This exhaustion you feel toward old habits and patterns is not laziness. It's a sacred sign. It means you are being prepared for a life more aligned with who you truly are. You may notice your tolerance for drama fades. You may become more protective of your time. You may say no more often, even to opportunities that look good on the outside but feel wrong inside. This is growth. This is discernment. It's the quiet separation between what once served you and what will serve you in the future. Like a tree shedding leaves in autumn, you are letting go so that new life can emerge. And yes, there can be grief in that letting go. You might miss the thrill of the old ways, even if they no longer fit. You might feel a little lost without the routines that once defined you. But remember, every release creates room for something better. Krishna doesn't strip away without replacing. He doesn't close a chapter without preparing the next one. And often, what comes after is so much richer, deeper, and more fulfilling than anything you could have imagined. So if you're feeling restless in your current life, don't see it as a problem to fix. See it as a sign to listen. Listen to what your soul is craving now. Maybe it's simplicity. Maybe it's deeper relationships. Maybe it's work that feels meaningful, even if it's not as glamorous. Whatever it is, trust that desire, because it's not random. It's being placed in your heart for a reason. Krishna is redirecting your energy away from what drains you and toward what will nourish you. And once you taste the difference, you'll wonder why you ever settled for less. The exhaustion is not the end. It's the turning point. The moment when you realize you were never meant to stay in the old world forever. The moment when you finally step into the life that was waiting for you all along. When Krishna is about to bring something extraordinary into your life, it does not always arrive with gentle skies. Sometimes it comes in the form of a storm, a sudden shake, an unexpected loss, a challenge that feels too heavy for you to carry. At first you may think this is a sign that you've done something wrong. You may ask, why is this happening now, when I've been trying to live with faith? But storms are not always sent to destroy. Sometimes they come to clear the path. Krishna knows that you cannot carry old weight into a new chapter. He knows you cannot step into your destiny while still holding the wounds, fears, and attachments of the past. And so, the storm rises, not to punish you, but to purify you. It shakes loose the things that are not meant to remain. It forces you to see what is built on a weak foundation, and it leaves standing only what is strong, true, and aligned with your purpose. I've lived through storms that made me cry until there were no tears left. Moments when I felt stripped bare, vulnerable, and uncertain. And yet, those were the moments when I felt Krishna's presence the most. Not in the absence of the storm, but in the middle of it. When everything else was gone, His presence became my anchor. Storms have a way of softening us. They break the shell we've built around our hearts. They strip away the illusion that we have to control everything. They bring us to a place of surrender. And in that surrender, something beautiful happens. Grace enters. Grace doesn't come to those who have it all together. It comes to those who are open enough to receive it. And storms have a way of making us open. When the winds have passed and the rain has quieted, you begin to see clearly. You see the relationships that survived, and realize those are the ones that matter. You see the strength within you that you never knew existed. You see the ways you've grown softer, kinder, more compassionate, not in spite of the storm, but because of it. The softening is not weakness. It is the preparation for the blessing. A hard heart cannot fully receive love. A guarded spirit cannot fully embrace joy. But a heart that has been broken open by life can hold more light than it ever could before. And that is what the storm does. It expands you. So if you are in a storm right now, I want you to know, this is not the end. This is the refining. This is Krishna shaping you into the person who can carry what's coming. Do not be afraid of what is shaking, for it is only what cannot stay that will fall away. What is truly yours will remain. And when the skies clear, you will not be the same person you were before. You will be stronger, softer, and more ready than ever. One day, you will look back on this moment and say, this is where everything changed. Not because the storm broke you, but because it rebuilt you. And what Krishna is building in you now will be more beautiful than you can imagine. So now, beloved, you know the signs. The gentle stirring within. The stillness that makes room for what's next. The repetition of symbols and whispers that keep returning. The exhaustion from what no longer serves you. replaced by the craving for what is true. And yes, even the storms that soften your heart and make space for grace. These are not random moments. They are the fingerprints of Krishna on your life. They are the proof that you are being guided. Even when you can't see the full picture, even when it feels unfamiliar, uncomfortable, or uncertain, you are not forgotten. You are not lost. You are being prepared. And very soon, you will step into the chapter that all of this has been leading you toward. So take a deep breath. Let go of the fear. Stay open. Stay expectant. Because when Krishna moves, he does it in a way that will leave you in awe. And when that day comes, you will look back at this moment and say, "It was all worth it."